Okay, so I was thinking about this post idea, and I'm not loving these post pockets. It just seems like it's really going to be a pain, especially in years as years pass by. We're just going to get a lot of debris and stuff inside there. We're going to need to change also these I beams will need to be changed to HSS sections or square tubes. So I came up with a different idea here. Let me know what you think about this. So what if we basically splice the I beam right above the deck, right? So we can adjust where we want to splice it at. But if we take this I beam and we essentially just cut it, right? So we're making it two sections. Uh, Let me move it out 36 inches. So we take this I beam and we just cut it, right? So now it's two different sections of I beam. So it's two completely different sections of I beam. There's a plate on. I'll move this up 12 inches, and I'll move this other plate here. I'll move this one out 36 inches as well. Okay, so now this is kind of what we have here, right? So we have this I beam up here that we cut. So now we have two different lengths of I beam, and we're going to just bolt these together. So if we bring this down, we bring this I beam down 12 inches, and you can see I have this hinge on one side. So now instead of taking the whole thing off, we can just take this and we'll just hinge it. So whenever you want to remove it, the whole panel will just hinge, right? It'll just hinge back on itself. It'll just fold back. Now, how far do we want it to hinge? I'm not quite sure. I don't know if you even like this idea to have it just hinged out of the way. And it won't. We'll still have it sequential sections, not monolithic. So the entire side of the bridge won't just flop over. We'll still want to do the same thing with these individual panels over here, right? So instead of having this like this, we'll have it hinged. So so two posts will still be tied together with all this. So it'll still weigh about 500 pounds, but it'll just flop over. Each individual section will flop over and fold over, and then when we go to put it back, we'll need to apply these plates. I imagine these would be something like half-inch plates with half-inch thick steel plates. And here, just what I was thinking was something like a 5-inch by I guess I can leave those measurements on there. 5 inches by 1/4 inches, and these holes are designed for half-inch bolts. And so once we get this back in place, then we will just take these two plates and we'll put them back in. 36 inches. We'll put that plate back on as well. Move it over 36 inches. And we'll just bolt this thing back together. We'll run, what is that? 6 bolts here, 6 bolts over there, 12 bolts. We'll bolt each one back together. So this is going to be a lot more labor intensive, and you will have to get on the outside of the bridge to undo all these bolts. But once you undo the bolts, you won't be really fighting so much getting the panels off. You'll be fighting just getting all these bolts off. But this is going to be a lot easier of a fight, just getting on the other side and taking off these bolts and then hinging it over. And then we can look at doing something like a stand or something, like a catch. That way it doesn't flop all the way over. Maybe we want it to fold over. Actually, that's a good. Maybe we do that. Maybe we don't have it fold over all the way. Maybe we just have it fold over part ways, right? So maybe we just have it fold over like this, at a maybe a 45. If we do a 45, would that give you enough room to take your heavy load across, right? I'm kind of liking that idea. Would have to build something to prevent it from going all the way over, but that's looking pretty sharp. I kind of like that idea, stopping it at a 45, and we just this hinge will be welded on. So once you're done, you put it back together. You'll bolt all these plates back on. Yeah, I'm kind of liking the idea. Let me know what you think. And I still need to know what the just in case you don't watch the other video, I still need to know the height of your your abutments, the elevation, that way we can get the slope of these tubes, these shims, the right height over here. You can see this one I cut at a slope. I don't know what slope I need to cut these shims. These are 4x4 tubes. And I also want to add this 1-inch thick top plate. That way this top plate can mount to this red plate that's going to be installed on the rail car. So this red plate will be welded to the rail car. The yellow, orange, and hot pink will be those are all steel. This is steel. This is steel. This is steel. All those will be welded together and shipped to you loose, well, together as an assembly. It'd be pretty heavy, but you set that on top of the abutments. And this light pink will be a rubber pad that we're going to be shipping to you via UPS FedEx, that you'll use as a guide for embedding your bolts. So hopefully that makes sense to you. Let me know about this hinged post idea. I'm kind of digging it. I'm not sure what size. I was assuming 1/2-inch thick plate would do it. Actually, so that one challenge is going to be the weight of this. Let me get the weight of that real quick. All right, let's do some math real quick. So if this plate is 5, I'll do the math for you real quick. 5 times 12, that's 60 inches. Multiply that by 1 foot 4 inches, which is 16 inches. Times 16, we have 960 square inches divided by 144. That gives us 6.6 square feet times. Now, if we do 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch is 20.42. 20.42. That plate's going to weigh 136 pounds. Wow, that's pretty heavy. So maybe we don't do a 1/2 inch thick steel plate. If we divide that by 2, that's still 68 pounds, and we'll have 2 of those, 68 pounds on each side. So we will want to, this is why I like modeling this, 68 pounds, trying to fit this up. That's going to be kind of a pain. So so we may want to actually add a chair here to the I-beam to set it on, and we still may want to add a lifting hook. That way somebody on top of the bridge can kind of fish it down and set it on this little chair here, and then bolt it on. Okay, so it's still going to be 68 pounds if we do that at a 1/4 inch thick. Okay, I was hoping 1/2 inch, but I think a 1/4 inch would be sufficient. Keep the weight down. We'll have 2 of those, so 68 pounds for just each plate. All right, so once this thing is hinged back up, right? Once this thing is going to be hinged back up, then we'll bolt it down, and it's going to look like like this whole assembly here. Imagine it having the bottom part, and then we're just going to take this whole assembly, a little bit shorter than this one, and just kind of hinge it over just like this. Hinge it over at a 45-degree angle, and it'll look like that. Imagine that I-beam still sitting down below. Let me see if I can grab that for you real quick. Let me pause it. All right, so I just grabbed the bottom part of that hinged post and slapped it on the bottom of this one. So this post is actually a little bit taller than what it should be. So it has an odd illusion, but imagine this being what we're talking about here. So now we're going to take this entire assembly. Let's drag it over from this side. And now this whole assembly is going to hinge right here, right? So it'll hinge at a 45. We'll stop it there. And then once you're done doing whatever you need to do, now you see that we won't be able to leave the plates in place. The plates have to come all the way off. Maybe we can attach those to a chain. That's actually another cool idea. That way they just kind of dangle there. And then when you're done, you can put them back on. That way you don't lose any. And then once you're done, you put it back into place, you bolt it on, and you're good to go. Not kind of, I really like that idea. Let me know what you think about the hinged post instead of the post pocket. This is more like Neanderthal kind of a concept. It could work. You're just gonna be fighting it. You have to lube it up really well, and it is gonna get some rust and some different debris caught inside there. This one I'm kind of liking it, but it does require you to go outside the bridge and unbolt all this. I guess you could try to reach your hands through this to try to unbolt it, but that's going to be really tough to get inside there and reach all the way up inside to get those bolts. Yeah, that's going to be that'll be pretty tricky. I guess we could hinge it up higher if we move this entire plate higher where this was more accessible. Maybe we could do that, right? Um, let me model that, see what that looks like. That's going to take me a while, so let me pause the video for a while. All right, so I had to adjust this a little bit. So now if we put the splice right there, so now this one of those rungs will stay in place. And now looks like we could stick our hands inside here to undo all the bolts on both sides. There'll be bolts on both sides of that, right? And then we may not have to go to the other side of the on the outside of the bridge. And when we do that, this is kind of what it would look like. So we'll take this, we're going to undo the bolts, we'll pull the plates off, we'll move those out 36 inches to get them out of our way. We'll take this plate off, 36 inches, and we'll have to run some calculations to see if we need two plates or if we can do one. But I'm pretty sure we're going to need the two plates. And then when we unbolt it, we will, oops, I don't want to do that. I want to do a Q. We'll just have it hinge at 45. Right, is that going to give us enough room to clear that? Maybe we go greater than the 45. So that's I'm kind of liking the concept. We as far as how far did we move back, if we measure from this face to that face there, oops, that's not what I want to measure. From this corner, I want to see how much space we gained by doing this. To this corner, we're gaining about a little over 2 feet. So instead of it being 12 foot, we're gaining 2 feet on this side and 2 feet on the other side. That's 12, 14, 16 feet wide, right? Would 16 feet wide be enough, right? And as far as how wide, at what height is your heavy load at? So this is that's like 2 foot 10 inches from the height of here to the top of that post. So obviously it gets narrower the closer we get. So maybe we fold this all the way over so that